Hi everyone, it's Mrs. Wine. Today I'm going to demonstrate to you the art activity that I am going to do with you in class today based off the book Frida Kahlo and Her Animalitos. Do you remember the animals that we read about in this story? Some of her animalitos were a parrot, an eagle, a donkey, a cat, bugs or insects, butterflies, dogs, spider monkeys, a fawn or a baby deer, and a turkey. All of these animals were some of Frida Kahlo's unique pets. Today, you're going to be choosing a picture or a few pictures of animals, and you're going to work on creating your own imaginary animal. You can use one of these photographs, which I will have for you in class. You could choose one from home, or I will have some other images to work from as well. So let's get started. The first thing you have to do is you have to pick one or two images to work from. I decided that today I think I'm going to combine a turkey with a cat. And I think my plan is, in my head, I'm going to start with the cat, but instead of having a long, thick, curved line for the tail, I'm going to add a big turkey tail onto my cat. So the first thing I'm going to do is on my big sheet of white paper that I have folded in half, I have to decide whether I want to turn my paper the long way or the tall way. I think because my picture of the cat is the long way, and I know I'm going to be adding a big turkey tail on the back, I know I'm going to keep my paper the long way. And then the first thing I have to do is I have to sort of look at the different shapes that I see in the cat so I will know how to draw it. I like to start with the biggest shape I see first. And the biggest shape I see on the cat is the cat's body. And when I look at that shape, can you tell what I'm tracing with my fingers? I am tracing a big oval shape. The oval isn't straight up, it's a little bit slanted. So that's what I'm going to start with on my paper. I'm going to start with a big, giant oval. I have my ebony pencil, and I'm going to press very lightly in case I want to change some of the details later. I don't like to have to go back and erase all the time, so I'm just going to start with a big, light oval. Then, when I look back at my cat, the next biggest shape that I see is the cat's head. What shape is the head? That's right, the head looks like mostly a circle. And I see that that circle sits right on top of that oval. So I'm going to take my paper and I'm gonna add on that circle shape for the head. Again, not pressing very dark. Are there any other interesting details I notice about a cat? When I think of a cat, I think of its pointy ears. That shape is a triangle. So now I'm going to go and I'm going to add those two pointy ears onto my cat. I could go back and I could look at adding some of the details. I know I'm not going to add the tail, but I see how this leg kind of comes down, and I have a paw here, so I could add that line in. Here's my leg and my little oval shaped paw. And I see it has another leg. Oh, this one's hard to see. It's in the back. It's very dark. It has another leg and another little paw back here. Remember, I'm just sketching, so it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm going to save the details of the face for later because I want to make sure I combine my animals so I'm making a new imaginary animal. And now I'm going to look at the shape of this giant turkey tail. When I look at that shape, I see it's a semicircle or half of a circle. Now it's a little tricky because this turkey's facing this direction and my cat is facing the other direction. So I have to think. I don't want the tail to be here where the cat's head is. The tail's going to be back here. So I can come back on the back side of my cat and I can add in that big semicircle tail. And now I'm ready to add some of the details. When I add the details, I can go back and I can look at the different shapes I see. Like I notice a cat's eyes look like little ovals. I can look at the shape of the nose. And I can also look at the different kinds of lines I see for the different textures. Remember last week, we spent a lot of time looking at different lines and what those lines reminded us of and what they made us think of. So when I look at the cat, I notice it has some long little straight lines coming out of its ears. I can see some little dots where the long lines of the whiskers grow. When I look at a cat's fur, it almost looks like tiny little zigzags. So I could come back and I can think about how I want to use all those different textures to create my cat. That's why I said you don't want to press really hard when you first start, because now I can come back and I can add some of those details when I'm drawing my cat. So I'm just constantly looking at the different kinds of lines that I see. And once I have gotten to the point where I've drawn enough of the textures for my cat, oh, I notice there's another little foot over here where the cat is sitting. Then I would also want to start to look at some of the textures or some of the designs on that turkey. I notice the turkey has lots of individual little feathers, and I can see when I look up close the different designs on those feathers. And I would just keep working to add in all the different details and textures that I see. And then I've created my own turkey cat. I hope you have fun this week. Please use any animals you want when you're creating your imaginary animal. And think about the different features, the different techniques. And especially keep thinking about all those different shapes and lines that you can use when you're drawing. Have a wonderful week. And until next time, keep on creating.